to Lit Happens Prince Albert. This is the premier literary show in Prince Albert, talking about writers and what makes them write. I'm your host, Kara Stelmachuk, and joining me now is Joanne Panas. So Joanne, welcome and thank you for coming.
Thank you.
So let's, you're a double-pronged threat, really, because you're not just a writer, you're also an illustrator. So let's go back and talk about what got you writing.
Just the desire to be creative and to, express my inner thoughts, I guess.
Okay, so the first book, tell us about what this first one is about.
That one's actually with illustrations, and it's called Bulrush Helps the Pond, and it was done quite a few years ago. The author is from L'Orange, so basically it was just my pen and ink drawings that were in that book.
Oh, very nice. So how did it come about that you got to collaborate on this one?
Just chance meetings, and got in with the Gabriel de Man Institute. So.
Okay, very nice. Sometimes it's just who you happen to run into sometimes.
Exactly, that's how it happened, yes.
So this one is really cute here too. So this is The Beaver's Big House. So you were telling me a little bit about this one before we started rolling here, but let's fill people in on what this one is, because this is kind of a labor of love for your family.
Yeah, this one, my mom and I both wrote the story, and I did the illustrations, and then I painted them. So
very nice. And so talk as well, these feature translations. So why the double language, and what was the thinking behind that?
That was the Gabriel de Man Institute. That was their addition to the book, like to preserve the language, the Michif language, which is like a Métis language. So they're really big on preserving the language and the culture. So
very nice. And have you been drawing for a long time?
Ever since my mom said ever since I could hold a pen. So.
That's very nice. And then this is the newest one. So this is The Story of the Rabbit. It's very nice and colorful. So tell us the idea behind this one.
That one, lady in Regina, she did the writing. So Gabriel de Man Institute wanted some, artwork. So I just submitted, and they liked it. So that's where we went with that.
Very nice. So do you have any professional education training in drawing, or is this just a skill that you get to have? And
I had always been practicing drawing all my life. So I did not do anything other than the school, learning how to draw through school, the 1 through 12 grades.
So that's a lot of drawing, and you may not know it, but you do actually know some of Joanne's work already, because you are a cartoonist with the Daily Herald.
Yes.
So what do you, just explain to people what you do there?
Well, I've been doing the farming cartoon for Real Roots now for 20 years, actually, and they had done like a full article and stuff on the 20 years of doing the farmers. And a lot of people always ask, how do you always come up with the ideas? And I was raised on the farm, and it has to do with pigs and how your animals actually control your life. And so it's kind of just a humor spin-off of life that I had as a child. So, and then for the Daily Herald, I have been doing cartoons for them now for just around 5 years. And they put them in the Saturday's paper, on usually on the page 4. It's the bigger cartoon, and we have some fun with that one, because we also like to make fun of the mayor and city events and what have you. So we try to put a spin on them as well. And the mayor has actually become quite a big fan of the artwork. So even though he says it doesn't matter that I make him look funny, that's perfectly fine with him.
So you've met him, and he knows that you're the.
Oh yes. Oh, wow. He enjoys them.
Good. Oh, I'm just trying to imagine that conversation. That'd be very interesting. So that's a lot of drawing for children's books, and of course for the humor of Prince Albert. Let's talk about your book, because you have finished a book. So tell us the title of this book.
the novel that I just finished, it's the title is called The Battle for the Gift, and it is a spiritual book. It's the main character. He is a guy that, down on his luck. He's kind of like into the crime scene and what have you, and he's on drugs and what have you, and how prayers are somehow interfering in all of this life that he's stumbled into. And the prayers have him with a guardian angel. And even though he doesn't know it, he's being looked, watched and what have you. And the story progresses where he gets into a lot of trouble and pretty much loses his life, goes to hell, gets brought back. And it just spins off from there, how he finds a place where he can actually learn and start changing his life. So
interesting. So is this the kind of inspiration that comes from something specifically to what you've known someone who's gone through, or what you've gone through, or was this just came to you?
It actually just pretty much came to me. It it just feels like it was a story that's been in me for a long time, and finally I got to express it and to write it. I got to put in there the spiritual realm, because I myself, I believe in God, and that there's a lot more going on behind the scenes. We live in the natural realm. I believe there's a lot going on in the supernatural realm, and in my main character's life, that's how I'm introducing the spiritual realm in his life, going from, he's just, kind of a deadbeat to he's kind of, on the wrong road, and how the supernatural prayers from his grandfather are trying to keep him alive, basically.
So what stage are we at right now? Well, first, how long did it take you to get to this point?
It took about 2 years to write it, and about a year just to try and get things organized to write it. And also too, once I did get to that point, writing it just came so natural. It just, I've heard of authors saying the book wrote itself. I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about, but after writing this one, I understand now. It basically wrote itself. And so, I say I was inspired, and I cannot take any credit for it. It was, I'm sure it was from God, because the way it came so easy, and it was a surprise as I was writing it. I had no outline. It just, so I'm giving him all the credit.
Very nice. And so we're at the editing stage now.
Yes. Yeah, it's 57 chapters. It's, it's, I need somebody to try and read it through besides myself, to catch those errors, see if it flows and what have you. So it's just kind of, it's the final stages. And then from there, finding a publisher. So exciting.
All right, so you'll have to come back and tell us how that's going and where it sits, and then we'll be announcing where people can pick up this book.
That would be awesome.
Any other works coming up, or are we just waiting for the next spirit to move us? Or?
Actually, this book, it will be a series.
Oh, okay.
So that's the exciting part.
Very interesting. So are you inspired by any specific writers, or?
That's a good question, because I basically just kind of read books that accentuate scriptures, like Holy Scriptures and stuff. So those are the kinds of books I read. So it's not so much, adventure and having specific authors. That's where I'm at.
You're more in the genre, not just that writer. No, that's very interesting. So people now have seen these lovely books, and if they do want to get a hold of one of these, where do they go?
Well, the Gabriel Dumont Institute has a catalog, and if they're still in print, actually the Beaver's Big House is not in print anymore, so they put it into a DVD.
I have a DVD now, very nice.
And it plays like, you're turning a book page and stuff like that. So those are available. They have lots of them. They also have lots of the Rabbit Dance book too. I'm not sure if they have them like in bookstores right now. They did, but I don't know how long bookstores carry them for. So
until they're all sold.
Yeah, really.
No, that's really interesting. So thank you very much for coming and talking to us today, Joanne. It was very nice to meet you, and we'll keep you up to date on this upcoming book and how that's going to get out there, because we'll have to bring you back for an update for that.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Thank you.
Well, thank you again so much for coming in, Joanne. And if you'd like to watch this episode again, you can view it online at shawtv.ca. And if you have any ideas for making an appearance on this program yourself, you can get a hold of me on social media. I'm on Facebook and Twitter. Kara Stelmaschuk. Last name is exactly how it sounds.